Or what we're going to do today is put the grips and the reel seat on. I've already got the reel seat positioned on the rod just to get a feel for how it's going to look. And these are the grips that are going to go on this. So this rod will be a split grip, and it won't have a foregrip. What we'll have is a winding check that ends it. I like the rods when I build them to be lightweight, and you touch the rod as much as possible. So this is what the rod will look like once the grips are all on there. I think that looks pretty good. All right, for this butt cap, which will be the piece that goes on first, I'm actually not going to use the full length reamers. Even though it's hollow all the way through, I'm just going to hollow out from the rod side first, because the rod blank will only go, I don't know, 75% into the butt cap. I want to leave a little bit of a buffer, and by not hollowing this out, it gives it kind of a stopping point. So we need to hollow this butt cap out pretty significantly. To do that, we're going to use the Dremel. With the Dremel, we're going to start out with this smaller bit that'll let us get the opening going, and then we'll switch to a larger diameter bit. Okay, so we've got the diameter of the opening pretty good. Now we just need to get it reamed out that same diameter as far in as we can. I'm marking with my thumb how deep it is, and that's about right. That'll work. Okay, next is the handle. And the handle needs to go from here to here. So I'm marking it because we're going to take the reel seat off. And you can see we essentially need to feed this all the way to, let's see how far it'll go. It goes to right there. Naturally, we need to ream it all the way to right here. So, long way to go. I'm sure it's going to need to be reamed more than that. I just want to do a test fit before it gets way out of hand. So we need to get to right here. Ooh, it just needs a little bit more. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. A couple other things that we'll need are these winding checks. These are little rubber pieces. They're kind of finishing pieces. So for instance, this one will sit right on top of this butt cap. You can see it creates a piece of trim that kind of a transition from the butt cap to the rod. And then this one will go on the bottom side of here. It's really important to make sure you put the orientation on the correct way. One of them goes face down, one of them goes face up. We're also going to need a winding check that goes at the top of the reel seats. It'll be glued in, covered with epoxy. And we need to find the spine of the rod. You know, rods all have a natural sort of bending preference. So what I like to do is just lay the rod flat against my finger, and if you push the rod down with your other finger, it will roll into its natural spine, and you can feel it. I'm going to take my fingers and spin the rod, and you can feel where it I know you can't see it on the camera, but it snaps back into a natural position. And the back side of the spine, where my thumb is the side that the guides will go on. And it's the direction that will orient the real seat. Now, we need to mix up some epoxy. We use this cardboard as a surface we can mix the epoxy on. I wish that I had some like popsicle sticks, but I'm gonna use the back end of this paintbrush and that should do the job. What you want is a 50-50 mix. Mix it together really well. I'm gonna do the butt cap first. I'm gonna put it kind of liberally around the rod blank. I'm also gonna get some in the back end of the rod blank. What it'll do is kind of seep down and attach to the cork on the inside and just helps lock everything in a little bit better. I'll put a little bit on the inside of the cork. And I'm going to spin it slowly as we push it forward. I used way more glue than I needed, so I'm going to take some off with the back end of my paintbrush. And then I'm going to scoop my winding check down until it's flush. I'm going to use some isopropyl alcohol, wet this paper towel, and then gently spin it and get the last little bit of excess glue off. Perfect. Okay, now we're ready for the main grip. Get it started. It's going to end right here. This piece is going to end right here. So start with that much glue. I'm going to come down, spin it as we go. It'll push the excess. Use a little assistance here. All right. Same as last time. Pull the extra off. Mate the winding check up to the grip. Then use my napkin. All right, coming together. Now for the real seat. The real seat will use a lot more glue than the grips did. It's got a lot more open cavities inside of it. I'm going to make sure we have coverage all the way around the rod blank. Then we'll start moving it down. I'm going to put some glue around this top so it can seep into those cracks. All right. That'll work. Now we let her dry.